Hello, guys. Thank you so much for being a lovely audience again. And today, this video is all about Terraform state file as well as we'll cover the locking system. But before that, I'll give you a short brief of what that is. So, have you ever given a thought when you create or work on the Terraform codes? It generally creates a lock locally, and what is that lock? So, how you can unlock it, and basically why is it so, why we have the lock in place. So let me first tell you why on which file we are very really bothered about for the locking system is the Terraform state file. And the purpose of having the Terraform state is nothing but to store your current state of the infrastructure, whatever you provisioned recently through Terraform. And usually it is in the format of the JSON file, and it contains the information about your resources, dependencies, and the metadata kind of stuff. And why is it so important to have it in place? Because if you like to determine what has recently changed during Terraform plan, apply, or destroy commands, you will get to know through your by referring your Terraform state file. So we usually generally prefer it to store it on the remote backend. We call it as a backend. So remote means for AWS it is S3. For Azure, you can use Azure Blob storage, right? And what is state locking then, and why we have that state lock in place? Because suppose you are a team of few members, and more than one member is working on the same code of Terraform code, right? So it usually prevents multiple people or the system from applying changes at the same time. And how is it doing so? We put the lock using the DynamoDB state lock. We will cover all of it in this video. That's the reason I'm giving you a short brief prior to what I'm gonna cover. So DynamoDB lock will do nothing but preventing two apply commands from running simultaneously. So make sure I'll show you how it works, right? Because if you have that in your environment, then it will ensure the consistency as well, and it will definitely avoid the any state corruption as well. So basically, in short, your Terraform memory of the infrastructure is the state file, and the safety mechanism to avoid any conflict is the locking system. All right, let's go ahead and walk let me walk you through the demo. So this is the GitHub repository. I have already shared in the description. You can find it in the description after this video if you would like to refer all of it. The readme document has the prerequisites and everything defined here. So if you have the sufficient user permission to run the AWS commands, so you can simply run it. Else you can use the console and create the bucket for you prior to this, because I've already explained in my previous video how you can make the utilization of Terraform to create S3 bucket, EC2 as well. But this video is not about creating resources. It's all about uh, storing that Terraform state in the remote backend as well as working on the locking system. Okay, so you can go through it. I have it in the description of this video. Now let's move ahead and open git bash here. I am already in the directory. I am in the local, so has all the files that I showed you on the GitHub. So what I'll do is I'll first run terraform init. So before I run that, uh, i'll I'll advise you to definitely go through this, because you have to have S3 bucket in place. I have already created one. You have to have one table created, right? Terraform logs with the partition ID, lock ID, like this. And you can, if you have the CLI permission to create it, this is right here. So you can run this from command line. It should have the attribute name as lock ID, right? And attribute name lock ID for the schema, it is hash. Okay, so I have the table, DynamoDB table, because for locking system we use DynamoDB, and for storage of TF state we use S3 bucket. All right, let's move back. Go back to our bash. I'll hit Terraform init. And I've already covered what Terraform init is, what it does in the previous videos of the Terraform. So let's go ahead and run it again. It has been successfully initialized in the directory, and now I'll say Terraform plan. I'm not referring any particular file here like I referred in my last videos, Terraform vars file. But since I have all of it in the same directory, so it would definitely be picked up by default. So I'll run Terraform plan. Okay, now it says that I'm going to create one EC2 instance. So this is only the EC2 instance creation. You can have multiple resources creation like this. And when I hit Terraform apply, I can use auto approve, but I don't want to approve it just to show you how locking mechanism works. If I hit Terraform apply, okay, before that, I'll say auto approve. I'll again destroy it and recreate it to show you the locking mechanism. This will be storing your backend Terraform state file on the backend storage like S3 bucket. So if I hit apply, it will create an EC2 bucket. It will also create a Terraform state. It will store that Terraform state in the um, S3 bucket. And if you refer it locally, it would also be there in the directory. So let's wait for a while. It won't take much time. That's how Terraform works. It creates the EC2 instance of the resources in seconds. See, it has been created. So if you refer the console here, let me refresh this page. See, we have one resource now. We did not have anything prior to this. Now we have one resource. It is provisioned on 11th of July. Okay, today's date. And now I'll move. I'll go ahead and uh, refer this bucket. I'll refresh this. I have the environment as the folder. Under environment, I have the dev because I have defined it in the uh, backend file. You see, environment, that's the key for the demo bucket. Okay, so if I open this up, let me open this. So it has all the information. You just all the information of the configuration that we have for the EC2 instance provisioned and for the infrastructure, right? All the information about the infrastructure that we provision for. In our case, it is EC2 only, but it has all the things regarding EC2 we have mentioned. So now if I go here in the Terraform, if I not here, I'll explore the items, or you can go into the table and click explore table items from here also. Here we have one item. Let me refresh this. We have one item. See, now this item has the lock ID. This item has the but specific unique value of the digest. MD5 is the format here for the digest. See, and this is the lock that gets created when you actually hit apply. But since we have auto approved it, even if you don't approve it, if you don't mention auto approve, it will still create it because it's gonna create a lock just to prevent the conflict if some of your team member is also working on the same code. So this is how the natural way of working of TF state remote backend as well as your TF state locking system. Now I'll destroy it. I don't have to say yes, so I'll say destroy entire thing. It's being destroyed, and since we said auto approve, so it's not going to ask anything. It'll simply destroy the EC2 resource. Cool. Now let me verify that quickly. I'll go to EC2 here, refresh this. and now EC2 is gone, so it's terminated. So whatever components it had for the EC2, everything was terminated. But the reason it stays here, because we did not terminate the bucket, we terminated the, because that's the only resource we had there. Okay, so we have this, we can enable the versioning to have multiple Terraform states, so that will make sure what was the last configuration of the file. So we can enable the versioning as well by going into here, and you can edit this and enable the versioning, so it will have multiple versions. The more you run the apply, the more it will contain the Terraform file for the different dates here, so you can refer. That's the beauty of, Terraform state file and the S3 bucket as a remote backend storage. All right, now let me do this. And what I'll do, I'll for now I'll delete this item. Now I don't have anything here, right? Cool. Now I'll delete, let's keep it as is for now. What I'll say, I'll enable the versioning just for the demo, save changes, so that we can have multiple versions. We only have one file, now we'll have two files for the same version, and two versions of the same file. Okay, now what I'll do, suppose I'm the uh, primary one who is currently working on the code. I say Terraform. I don't have to Terraform init again and plan again. I'd say Terraform apply. You can run init and plan as well, but I will not say auto approve. I'll say it should ask me to approve. Now, meanwhile, it is doing its work. I'll open a new window. Suppose this is the second resource working on it. So I did not say yes, so it hasn't created anything. But if I go here in the items, refresh this file, it has already created that lock. So now, how the locking mechanism work, if I am being the second resource who is working on the same code, and say, let's, in the same directory, I'll say Terraform apply. See, let me maximize this window. It is not doing the same thing which my primary resource had on the screen. It is acquiring the state lock, error acquiring state lock, and it is clearly giving the error message of the DynamoDB acquiring the state lock, because there is a lock there and the ID is this, right? And Terraform acquires a state lock to protect the state from being written by multiple users at the same time. That's what I right now explained to you. So you can disable this locking by doing the hyphen lock equals to force, or by doing the force unlock, and then you can have the ID, this ID, right? So, but till the time this, I may not be able to hit apply till the time I either cancel this session like this, or if I say yes, it will be provision for me, and then it will be the ID will be released and Terraform lock will be gone. But till the time I am working on this code, nobody else can work on it. That's the beauty of Terraform and the state locking system we have. So no uh, multiple resources can work on the same code at the same time if you have Terraform lock in place. All right. So that's how the locking mechanisms work. Hope you have enjoyed this video and try to apply the same. So let me cancel this out, and on the second resource I'll say Terraform apply again. Now I'll get that prompt whether you would like to provision. See, so I cannot do anything being a second resource if primary is still working on it. So no multiple users can work on the same code if you have the locking system in place. That's what I wanted to cover for this demo. I hope you really enjoyed the video and try to implement the same, and go through these files one by one, and please share your comments, share your inputs in the comment section. And if you have any concerns or any doubts, you can always reach out to me, given with the link given in the bio, right? And you can always share your thoughts or any ask any query through the comment section as well. I'll surely respond to it. Again, thank you so much for your patience. Enjoy learning. Bye bye.